Good morning, everybody. Matt Moda here to give you my favorite NBA player prop picks for today. We're talking Tuesday, November 25th. I'm going to have three NBA player prop picks for you guys to like in for today's MLB bettings, or NBA, not MLB. I wish it was home run season. Two overs, one under, two plus money bangers, one slight minus money banger is what we have in store for today. Before we get into that, we got to do a recap. And it pains my heart to see where we are at this season, but that's what's going on. Down 15 units. It's just been brutal. There's really no other way to say it. Somebody on Twitter said it's starting to seem like I don't know what I'm doing. It's hard to argue with that. I took Sunday off, so this includes Saturday. This includes yesterday. Which guess what? 7 straight losers. I went 0 for 4 on Saturday. I went 0 for 3 yesterday. And the day off I thought really helped me. I went in yesterday. My dog's down here saying hi. I went in yesterday. I was feeling good about the slate. I kind of laid everything out, gave my 3 favorite. Really thought it was going to be a good day, and those 3 weren't even close. Now, the funny part is like the stuff that I was debating to take but didn't, the majority of that hit, which has just kind of been the story of the season. That's not me saying that, oh, I've just been having bad luck. It's just obviously the reads haven't been there. And 15 units is very bad. Last year, I thought was going to be the worst start that I would ever have to a season. The worst it got last year was down 12 units. So it's going to be a ways before we can get ourselves back in the green. At one point, I had won 12 straight. This was 2 years ago. If we do that, at least we'll be close to breaking even. So let's hope we can just get on a ridiculous run. Yeah, people want to fade. I don't blame them. Tail, fade, lower your unit size, whatever you want to do. I'm going to at least give you guys my thoughts in leans and plays, and if anything kind of sticks out, hopefully it will, hopefully that works out for you. And then I'll track whatever I give out, and hopefully we can have a little bit more success. So anyways, the first game here, Hawks versus Wizards. I do have a play that we're locking in for this one. It's Jalen Johnson, but I'm taking him on the rebounds. The biggest thing here, and first of all, let's just kind of talk about it. So you look at the year, he's gone over in only half of his games. He's gone over 9.5 rebounds. It's at even money at Hard Rock is the best offered price, but I would still take the minus 111 at FanDuel. But he was slow to start at the beginning of the year. You see he missed it in 4 straight. But you look at games without Trae Young, and it's over in 8 of 12, so a little bit of a better hit rate. And it's actually, he's also gone over it in 6 of his last 8 games as well, averaging about 11 rebounds per game. Now, one thing that I also want to highlight here are games with Kristaps Porzingis because, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, I was close to taking his points, but I ended up being scared off because of Porzingis. But you look at games with KP, without Trae Young, over in 6 of 8 games, averaging 10.3 rebounds per game, averaging 16 rebound chances. So that's a pretty good conversion rate for somebody that does not defer a lot of rebounds. He basically grabs it and goes. You also want to look at games with Onyeka Okongwu, who I think has missed 1 game in this stretch. It's over in 5 of 7. So one of those games he went over, Onyeka missed, but that's still a really good hit rate with those 2 guys in and with Trae Young out, averaging 16.3 rebound chances. That's really, really good, above his average of 15.4. So right off the bat, you kind of look at who's in, who's out. It looks good for Jalen Johnson. I love the even money price on this as well. And we haven't even talked about the matchup yet because it's not even fun to talk about how bad the Wizards are. The equivalent, if you're looking for some perspective, the equivalent of how this season has gone for me is the Washington Wizards, who I believe are 1-16, 1-17, something like that. They allow the most rebounds per game in general. They allow the 3rd most rebounds per game to the forward position, which is where Jalen Johnson plays. You see that right here. They allow the 2nd most offensive rebounds, the 3rd most defensive rebounds. They have the worst defensive net rating in the NBA, and they play at the 4th fastest pace. So they miss a lot of shots. They take a lot of shots. That's just perfect. You look at guys similar to Jalen Johnson in terms of their rebounding profile. 3 of 4 have gone over by a rebound and a half above what their over under is priced at, and that includes 1 miss was Bobby Portis, who I think this was the first game of the year. He had 6 rebounds. His over-under was 6.5. And in that same game, Giannis had 14. So they both almost went over, with Giannis kind of smoking his over. So all that stuff lines up perfectly for Jalen Johnson in his rebound prop. I love getting this at even money. Initially, I was going to take his points. I'm just going to be straight up. I was going to take his points because the matchup is obviously fantastic for his points. but I looked a little bit more into it. Games that Kristaps Porzingis has played, it's not nearly as good for Jalen Johnson, which kind of makes sense, right? Like KP comes in, takes some shots away from Jalen Johnson, but you see he's only gone over 22.5 points in 3 of 7 games. And the over is priced at minus 136. You could go 23.5 or minus 105. Guess what? That's 2 of 7 games. One game he scored 24. So if, like, for me, I was debating 25 plus. That's only 1 of 7 games that he's played without Trae Young and with these two guys. So I just think his scoring comes down a little bit when everybody else is healthy, which makes sense. Which also makes sense why his rebounding is up, because he takes more of like the quote unquote point forward role as opposed to a pure scorer. Because you look at games without Kristaps Porzingis, just to kind of give you context here, it's over in 4 or 5 games, and it's 25 in every single game he went over. The only one that he missed was the second game of the year. We only played 26 minutes, and he was still kind of on his minutes restriction because he came back from an injury from last year. So this is all to say to be careful with the points. The rebounds I absolutely love. That's play number 1. I ended up just totally skipping this Magic Sixers game. I mean, it's Russian roulette on who plays. Maxey, he'll probably play. He's dealing with a shoulder thing, but he's good. Embiid, who knows? VJ Edgecombe, he's out. Paul George will probably play. And then on the Magic side, it's Banchero is still out. And then it's kind of Russian roulette trying to decide what to do between everybody else. I was debating going Franz and the first quarter. It's been a while since I've taken a first quarter point prop. 10 of his last 18 games over in 6.5, or the over under is 6.5 for even money at FanDuel, plus 110 at Hard Rock. It's a good matchup against the bad Sixers defense, who allow a lot in transition and a lot to the pick and roll ball handler, which are 2 of the top 3 play types. Yeah, they don't foul, but that's just because they let everybody score, so they don't foul. He hit it in the first game against the Sixers, so that's where I would go in this game, but I'm not playing anything, which means I have 2 plays in the Clippers-Lakers game. They're actually both on players on the Clippers. 1 over, 1 under. We'll start with the under, which is James Harden and the points. Now, DraftKings, it's moved a little bit. When I locked it in, it was minus 104 at DraftKings. It's now minus 109, which I would still take at that minus 109 price. And this is gonna seem scary because he's gone over 9 of his last 16, which is really 8 of his last 11, which is really 6 of his last 8 and 5 of his last 6. Now, you look at some of these point performances, 41, 37, 31, 55. Guess what? Kawhi didn't play in any of these games. You look at games in which he's played with Kawhi Leonard, scoring goes significantly down. It's only hitting 25 points in 2 of 7 games. Now, one thing that you can do on Props Madness, which is cool, is you can see like, all right, well, you can look at the point and what it's priced at now. What about what the books had it priced at? There was one time where the books had his over-under priced at 22 or 23.5, and he went over. So it's over his projected point line with Kawhi Leonard in only 3 of 7 games this year. And you look at the matchup against the Lakers, it's not a horrible matchup. It's not anything to fear either. You hover over the matchup here. They allow their defensive net rating is mediocre. In terms of like points allowed to point guards, they're also mediocre. From a play type perspective, yeah, they allow a lot in isolation. Everything else, like free throws, ball handler, transition, is not that bad. So it's really just ISO where, yeah, he might score 15 ISO points, but if he doesn't get any of the other points from any of the other spots on the floor, it's like it's really only spot up, which like James Harden's not spotting up. Are you kidding me? It's James Harden. That's really the only other part of the defense that the Lakers is weak. So it's really just fading recent results because people are going to look at his point performances and be like, this guy's gone 25 plus points in 8 of his last 11 games. We're getting it at 24.5. But the biggest thing is Kawhi Leonard. And even if you look at like other guys missing, granted, a lot of guys are out like Brad Beal and Derek Jones Jr. He hasn't played a ton of games with Kawhi and without these guys, so it's a small sample size. But like the one game that we have seen, this was the most recent game they played. I mean, he was 0 of 8 from deep, which is obviously terrible. And he only took 16 shots. So if you're taking 16 shots to score 25 points, I mean, he did get to the line a decent amount, but we know the Lakers don't foul. So I think instead of those 10 free throws per game, maybe it's going to be like 6 or 8. And it's just the 25 number is a little bit too high for me. And then you look at him as a member of the Clippers against the Lakers, which you can look at the head-to-head. He's hit his point prop line in 3 of 7 games, but he has never scored 25 points. Not a single time against the Lakers has he scored 25 points. He came close with 23 right here, but still 17 shots, 16 shots. We're basically asking him to go 5 of 9 from deep in order to hit this over, and that just seems a little bit too scary for me, which is why I'm taking his under. That's play number 2. And then the last play here is Zubac, and we're taking him on the rebounds. Now, you're going to see that he's only gone over this. Hey, actually, let me be clear. I'm taking him over 11.5 rebounds, which is plus 116 odds at FanDuel. I'm not taking the super disgustingly juiced 10.5. I'm taking 11.5. So you're going to look at this and you're going to say, well, he's only done this in, I want to look at this year. He's only done this in 8 of 17 games this year. But you have to look at his minutes. Like the beginning of the year, he did not play nearly as much. 27 minutes, 25 minutes. Now, this game he played 35, but down to 24, then 34. With guys out like Derek Jones Jr., like Kawhi Leonard, and with Brook Lopez showing his age, Zubac is playing more. So you look at his last, on the entire season, he's averaging about 31.6 minutes per game. But you look at his last 9 games, he's averaging 34 minutes per game, so he's up, and he's hit 12 rebounds in 6 of 9. That's very nice. 6 of 9 games, averaging 13 rebounds per game. So right off the bat, you look at his minutes and you say, all right, what's happening when he's playing like 30 plus minutes, which we can actually do on Props Madness. You just look at his minutes filter and you say, all right, how is he doing in games that he just plays 30 minutes, which is the absolute floor of what he's going to play. Like he will play 30 more minutes unless he gets in foul trouble or it's some crazy blowout, and you can't project either of those things. Well, it's over in 7 of 12 games, averaging 13 rebounds per game, averaging 22.5 rebound chances per game. That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic in terms of rebound chances per game for somebody that we're asking to get 12. Now, one of these games, he played 46 minutes because it went to overtime. That's not going to happen. Let's take that game out. Say between 30 and 40 minutes. Well, guess what? It's still over in 7 of 11 games. Still averaging 13 rebounds per game. Still averaging 22.5 rebound chances per game. And still averaging about 33 minutes per game. So his season average has still gone up recently. Now, all right, you want to make sure, is he rebounding more in the games that Kawhi missed? So let's look at games with Kawhi Leonard, and we're going to take out all the rebound filters. Now, the minutes filters, I mean. Now, the first 3 games, he missed. But again, it's the minutes thing. 27 minutes, 25 minutes, 35. So you look at the games in which he actually did play 30-plus minutes. His last, or these games, it's over in 3 of these 5 games, averaging 13.4 rebounds per game with Kawhi Leonard in the lineup. Now, one guy who's been out, who I think has the most dramatic impact on Zubac rebounds, is Derek Jones Jr. He's played 4 games with Derek Jones Jr. out. Guess what? He's gone over in 3 of 4 games, averaging 15, basically 13 or 14.8 rebounds per game. And his rebound chances, 24.3. Now you look at the Lakers, they're technically not a great matchup for center rebound props. You don't know what the biggest news in terms of injury for this game. No DeAndre Ayton. So I think Zubac is just going to be able to swallow every rebound. There's nobody that's really going to be able to challenge him. And he's probably going to be able to get a ton of offensive rebounds as well. So I love the rebounds look for Zubac. That is my third and final official play. So here are the 3 plays that we are locking in for today. It's Harden under 24.5 points. So it's minus 104 when I locked it in. Minus 109 is still fine. It's Jalen Johnson 10-plus boards, and it's Zubac 12-plus boards. Listen, 3-0 will not bring us into the green on the year. 3-0 won't even bring us down under 10 units on the year. But at least I will be as honest as I can with my results. I'm not going to hide anything, because then you just lose your credibility. But we go 3-0 today. We go 3-0 tomorrow. Then we're starting to feel pretty good. So I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. The other leans that I looked at for today, LeBron on the assists, I was really close to taking 7.5 for plus 105 even money. It's not terrible. The Clippers are generally a pretty good assist matchup. The only thing that scared me was he hit 8+ in both games since he returned. That was against the Jazz. The Jazz are the best matchup that you can possibly ask for assist props, literally as good as it gets. So I was a little bit scared off of that. Jackson Hayes is probably who is going to end up playing the most with DeAndre Ayton out. He's also hard to trust. Maybe if you look at his minutes and all right, what's happening when he's playing 15 minutes? It's over his point prop in 4 of 8 games, over his assist prop of literally 0.5 in 5 of 8, and his rebound prop in only 2 of 8. So nothing really doing there. And then Zubac I took on the boards. I almost took him on the assists as well. His over-under is 2.5, priced at plus 155 at Hard Rock. It might seem like, 7 of 17 games, but games with Kawhi Leonard, when it's 5 of 7 games. Now, his potential assists are low, which is going to happen with the center. He's basically only getting an assist also on what ends up being a potential assist. But I do think that it's a decent look for Zubac for the assists with Kawhi Leonard in. And then you look at last year in his games against the Lakers, 3 assists in 3 of 4 games. So, I think it's a good look. I think if I was having a better season, I would feel more confident taking it. But, when I wake up tomorrow morning, because there's no way I'm staying up for this game at 11, and I see that Zubac had 0 assists, I'm going to think, obviously, that was the stupidest play of all time, which has been a lot of my plays have been the dumbest plays of all time. So trying to avoid the dumbest plays of all time and rocking with these 3. So if any of those leans spoke to you, let me know in the comments which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like. Somebody else mentioned in the comments that I always say I appreciate the people being positive because it's a mentally draining having a bad both NFL and NBA season at the same time. And somebody saying maybe people need to start making negative comments. Maybe that's true. Maybe that'll light a fire under me. We'll see. But in all seriousness, that's all we got. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.